Hello, everyone, and my doctors on Thursdays. Welcome to your first of your two final videos from me before the summer. In this video, we are going to be looking at a couple of things. We're going to be looking at listening skills, and we're going to be looking at the topic of kindness. So this applies to my groups who are with me on Thursday between 7 and 9 o'clock. I hope you're keeping happy, and I hope you're keeping safe. So, how are you? So, given all the time that we've had over the last number of weeks, there has been a bit of delays in places, and I do apologise for late delays in some of the videos, as it hasn't been easy on everybody who has been working during this time. And I hope you're keeping happy, healthy, and safe. So, in part one of this video, we are going to be doing what is called a listening challenge. Now, what does this entail? In this challenge, I'm going to say 6 listenings. I'm going to read, which involves myself reading out 6 passages. Now, 6 passages, some of them vary in length. Some are really long and some are really short. Okay. 4 of these, you will have to listen and finish what I'm saying. When you hear me say level of speaking, ... what comes next. Say what's next. Write down what is next and then email me your answers. The other listenings that I'm going to do with you, which is the other 2, will have a question. You have to answer the question. Okay? So, we're going to do it now. Okay? What we're going to do now is we're going to do the listening challenge. So, this is how it will work. For the first part, I'm going to read you 3 short passages, and after I have finished each one, I would like you to either suggest a suitable ending or answer a question. I will then move on to the next passage. Are you ready? You should be. Okay. These 4 passages are incomplete. When I stop, I would like you to write down in just a few words how you think the passage finishes. Okay? Passage number 1. During his speech, the principal of the high school highlighted that one of the most important needs for students was to develop a sense of self-confidence when speaking English in public, as this had become a necessary tool to find a good job position. Teachers, students, and parents seemed to totally agree with him, and as a result, the high school has been offering 3 lessons per week addressed to students who wanted to improve their speaking skills. This approach seems to be successful as the level of speaking ... Write your answer, please. Passage number 2. Video and computer games are no longer the pastime and hobby of just a few, and are a part of life for many. First-generation video game players are now adults, and many have continued with their passion in adulthood and are also passing on their hobby to their children. Whilst many parents and teachers worry about the negative effects gaming has on children, studies by leading researchers have shown that video and computer games can have ... What is the answer? Okay, passage number 3. My sister and I have very different personalities, but we also have some similarities. We are both very caring and have a similar taste in music. However, we are total opposites when we differ. For example, I trust people very easily, but she can often be quite ... What comes next? Okay. Number 4. My brother, who is 28, fell madly in love with a woman who is 20 years older than him. She is nice and beautiful, but she has already 2 children who are 18 and 15. He is planning to propose to her despite the fact they hardly know each other, since it's 3 months now they have met. I think he's completely ... Okay, now for the next 2 passages, I will give you a question. Now remember, for the first 4, write down your answers. Okay, write down your answers. Okay, so passage 5. Yesterday, I went to a concert and the audience attitude surprised me. To be honest, it was triggered by the lead vocalist's pose. He came on stage with a defiant look. He was trying to make it like he was more important than everyone else there. People get mad and started booing. My question is this: how would you define the lead vocalist's attitude? How would you define the lead vocalist's attitude? Write down your answer, please. Okay. And last but not least, passage 6. No language is easy to learn well. Though languages which are related to our first language are easier, learning a completely different writing system is a huge challenge, but that does not necessarily make a language more difficult than another. In the end, it is impossible to say that there is one language that is the most difficult in the world. My question is this: what is the speaker's concluding thought? Okay, make sure you write your answers and I will reveal the answers at the end of this video. Okay, we're going to move on. This would be in line with week 5 and week 6 of your lessons, and this is all about the topic of kindness. What is kindness? Kindness is where we are sympathetic, kind, nice to another person. Okay? And nice to another person. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. I may highlight some vocabulary, I may highlight some different areas, and actually get you to think about certain questions. Okay? Now, here is an expression for you. The expression is love thy neighbour. What does it mean? Love thy neighbour, so that's love thy, T-H-Y, neighbour, the person who you live next to. The expression means to love someone is the way you want to be loved. Okay? Alright. Now, I am going to read out a short text which will help you decide your answers to the following questions. Okay? I'm going to read out this text twice. Okay? And you need to answer accordingly. Okay? And remember, you can send your answers by email. You can even send it as a voice message. I would like to hear your voices and see how you answered it. So, this is love thy neighbour. First time, listen. Second time, listen, and then answer the questions. So, a young woman called Kitty Genovese was walking along the streets of a middle-class neighbourhood in New York at 3 a.m. When she was attacked, she screamed for help and managed to escape. A few minutes later, her assailant caught her again and she continued screaming for half an hour. While 38 neighbours watched transfixed from their windows and did nothing. They didn't even call the police. Kitty died of multiple stab wounds. In another town in America, a man went to a garage sale and bought an old toolbox for $15. At home, when he opened it up, he found $5,500 hidden under some plates at the bottom of the box. He returned the money to the woman he bought the box from. Okay? Now listen again. A young woman called Kitty Genovese was walking along the streets of a middle-class neighborhood in New York at 3 a.m. When she was attacked, she screamed for help and managed to escape. A few minutes later, her assailant caught her again, and she continued screaming for half an hour, whilst 38 neighbours watched transfixed from their windows and did nothing. They didn't even call the police. Kitty died of multiple stab wounds. In another town in America, a man went to a garage sale and bought an old toolbox for $15. At home, when he opened it up, he found $5,500 hidden under some plates at the bottom of the box. He returned the money to the woman he bought the box from. Very interesting, isn't it? Okay, so there's a few words of vocabulary I want you to remember. Assailant is the person who is trying to cause harm or attack the person. Middle class is like higher than working class. One below high class, one above working class. Transfixed is to stare. To stare is transfixed. Okay. And there was one more. No, that was all that I picked up from that text. Okay. If there are any words that you picked up while listening, please do email me and I'll go through them with you. Now, I have some questions I would like to ask you all. What would you do? So, question 1, think about this. Out of the 2 stories, which of the stories seems to be the stranger story? Kitty Genovese's or the man returning the money? Okay, what do you think? Both are quite unique stories, so I would like to hear what your thoughts on that, please. 2, I'm going to read out some statements, and what do you think? True or false? So I want you to think true or false. Okay, so A. So what do you think, true or false? People did nothing to help Kitty because they A. prefer to protect themselves rather than get involved and risk being killed. So I can repeat that again. People prefer to protect themselves rather than get involved and risk being killed. B, no longer have a group or a tribal feeling. So tribal feeling like you're in a tight-knit group, which binds them or joins them together. We are all too individual and we always put ourselves first. So that's B. So B is no longer have a group or tribal feeling which binds them together. We are all too individual and we always put ourselves first. Do you think true or false to that statement? But what about C? Convince themselves that there are already institutions in cities to deal with this kind of problem. They don't need to intervene because the police will intervene for them. Do you think that is true or false? Or D, basically selfish and just don't care about other people. What do you think? Do you think that is true or false? And then the man returned the box, from the story about the man who returned the box, the man returned the box because he was a noble altruist, or F, he was simply afraid he might have been caught. What do we think? Spend about 5 or 10 minutes thinking about those statements. You can rewind the video and pause and think of your answers. And in a moment, come back and I'll go through the answers. Okay, so welcome back. So, what do you think? Do you think true or false? A, people did nothing to help Kitty because they A, preferred to protect themselves rather than get involved and risk being killed. The answer to that, if you said true, is correct. Because in life, people a natural instinct is to feel fear. And if someone is being attacked, a lot of people will freeze because they might risk getting killed. But if it was someone close to you, you might want to fight for them. B, no longer have a group or tribal feeling, which binds them together. We're all too individual and we always put ourselves first. What do you think? The answer is true. So if you think true to this, you would be correct, because a lot of people nowadays see themselves as individual, and have to put themselves first. It's like you literally there is nearly, and this is a good expression, there's a good way of saying this, a pecking order. So you have to put yourself first over other people that you may care about. Or in this case, the neighbours put themselves first over helping Kitty. And C, convince themselves that there are already institutions in cities to deal with this kind of problem, and they don't need to intervene because the police will intervene for them. In this case, the answer is also true. So they believe that someone else has already done it, so they don't do anything. But even at that, the best thing to do is, if you see something, do call the police or call the responsible authorities. And D, basically selfish and just don't care about other people. In this one, there is not an identifiable answer, but in my opinion, I would say that there is a lot of selfish people in this one, and I think that there is a lot more to be desired. Okay, now, E and F, the man who returned the box. The man returned the box because he was a noble altruist. I would say no, because I think he thought it was the right thing to do because it's a lot of money, or he was simply afraid that he might have been caught in F. Probably true, because if you find that lot of money, I would be saying it probably would end up cursing me. There would be a curse to have it. Okay. I want you to look at the next activity I'm going to talk about is, what would you do in these situations? Would you, what would you do in situation 1, what would you do in this situation? If you saw someone suspicious hanging around outside a neighbour's door, what would you do? Situation 2, what would you do if you saw a teenager stealing some sweets from a shop? And also, if it was the same, but a little old lady, what would you do if a little old lady was stealing sweets from a shop? What would you do? C, what would you do if you saw someone of a different colour of skin being beaten up by 4 people who are the same colour of skin as you? What would you do? What would you do in a situation where you see some children teasing or taunting another child? And what would you do if you saw someone cheating in an exam? What would you do? I want to hear your answers and I want to hear your responses. And remember to email me your responses in the link below. Okay, so for the last activity of this, which would cover these few weeks, I want to ask you, are you an altruist? What is an altruist? An altruist who would do is a person who would do something to benefit others more than themselves. They would do a lot of things to benefit others than to themselves. That is what an altruist is. An altruist. So altruist is spelled ALTRUIST. It's an altruist. Okay, what I'm going to do in this last activity is I'm going to go through 5 questions, think of the statements, and then I can give you an analysis. Okay? So, there's no right or wrong answers here. So, question 1. Are you an altruist? Number 1. You see an old lady struggling to cross the street with some heavy bags. Do you A. Ignore her? She could get herself a shopper's trolley. B. You help her cross, like move across. Or C. You help her to cross and then offer to carry her bags, home for her, even though she lives in the opposite direction. What would you do? Question 2. At a party, there is one more chocolate left on the plate. Been through this situation many times, and it causes more drama every single time. So, at a party, there's one more chocolate left on the plate. What do you do? Do you A, you take it and eat it when there's no one looking? B, you offer it to others first? Or C, you insist that someone else have it, though your mouth is watering? Question 3. You run over a cat, in your car. What do you do? Do you A, you carry on driving? B, you stop and knock at the presumed owner's door? So you knock at the presumed owner's door. Or do you C, after calming down the owner, you offer to take the cat to the vet? What do you do, folks? What would you do? Question 4. A neighbour's car alarm goes off in the middle of the night. Do you A, close the window and put your earphones in? Wow, party. And then you hear, no. Do you B, ring your neighbour, but do nothing more if there's no reply? Or C, you rush round to investigate? What do you do? Okay. 5. You are driving along the country road in the dead of night. A bedraggled person of unknown sex tries to flag you down. By unknown sex, gender. That's what that's referring to. You don't know if it's a man or a woman. Or a wildebeest, I don't know. Okay, and number 5. You are driving along a country road in the dead of night. A bedraggled, that's a very scruffy and shoddy person of unknown sex tries to flag you down. Do you A, think it's probably some drunken maniac? B, you drive past and feel terribly guilty that you didn't stop? Or C, you stop immediately and give whatever assistance is needed? What do you do? Just give yourself a moment for those answers and I can give you an analysis. Okay, so here is the analysis of these questions. If you said A's mostly, you are thoroughly, if you had mostly A's as your answers, majority, you are you would be known to be a thoroughly selfish person, but definitely part of a great indifferent majority. So what that means is you are naturally, your answers may define you as somehow what's selfish, but you're definitely part of an indifferent majority. So you might be selfish in some places, but maybe good in others. If you have mostly B's, you do your bit to help the world, but rather half-heartedly. So you only help out when you feel it is necessary to, but don't do it all the time. But if you say C, well, they say you're on a one-way ticket to heaven. You are an angel. You're an angel. You would help anybody out as well. Okay? So if you're not sure what I've just said, you can always rewind the video and look back. Okay, so I'm going to go through the answers from the listening challenge, okay, which would be from the previous week. Okay, so the answer for listening 1 is the following. There's multiple answers. So for listening 1, you could say has increased, has improved, is much better, or something similar. Number 2, answer is either benefits, advantages, positive effects, or something else. Listening number 3, paranoid, skeptical, suspicious, wary, distrustful, or equivalent. Or number 4, mad, crazy, or in love. And listening 5, how would you define the lead vocalist's attitude? The answer would be arrogant, pretentious, vain, aloof, or as I would say, stuck up would be another one. And the last one, what is the speaker's concluding thought? It is impossible to say one language is more difficult than another. Okay, so that covers weeks 4 to 6. In the next video is your final video. I'm covering the last few weeks and a goodbye message from me. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Remember to send your answers to me for certain activities. If you have any questions, email me. I would like to hear from you, and just email in the description below. Okay, good lesson. Speak to you soon. Hope you're well. Stay happy, be safe, and be well. Okay, bye.